All right. Greeting, ape scholars. Greetings, I should say. Welcome if you're just joining us from the Marco Learning YouTube Live with Christian Shapiro. That's a great resource as well. Check it out. Go check out the replay if you haven't already. Watch that live. So, this is going to be a short one. We're going to keep it short and sweet here. I have to get out at 7 to go to an Ultimate Review Packet live stream. And so if you're here, let's get a couple questions, some topics we want to review. This is kind of the last minute. This is like we're, 14 hours out. And so we're not going to be able to cover tons of content tonight, but we can answer a few last minute questions. I think one thing that's definitely worth showing, so we'll start off with this while we welcome other folks in, is math. We know, there we go. Getting used to my camera directions. We know the math, specifically these 4 questions, are very likely to appear on the exam in some way, shape, or form. So check these out. Make sure you take a screenshot of this. I will make sure these slides are in my link tree if they're not there already, but you definitely want to check that out. Definitely want to make sure you know how to do these math problems. So that being said, math is 13% in the exam. What's another big portion? Sorry for the lag. Unit 9, though, is going to be 15 to 20% of the exam. So that's going to be huge. You definitely want to check that out as well. But I've had a few requests for some Unit 4 stuff. So we can do a little bit of Unit 4. What I'm going to do is share Unit 4 slides. We'll take a quick look at soil horizons as well as El Nino and La Nina. So let me get those set up, and hopefully our Wi-Fi stabilizes. It's been a little bit shaky. But let's check out soil horizons real quick. So we'll share the soil horizon screen here. So if you take a look, we're going to have the O horizon. And in the O horizon, we have organic matter. That's what the O stands for. Fun fact, I established a gang at my school, Grand River, with we called it the O layer gang. So you can throw up the O layer gang. If you look at it, it kind of makes an O and then an L. And the way you get in the gang is do some composting. So you just have to take some organic matter and compost it, and it becomes part of the O layer. So it can help you remember the organic layer is going to have, roots of plants. It's going to have a lot of nutrients. It's going to preserve moisture in your soil. It's almost like putting moisturizer on your skin. Then you have the A horizon, sometimes called topsoil. That's going to be a mixture of humus. This is partially decomposed plant matter, organic matter that's like in various stages of breaking down. But we also have sand, silt, and clay in the A horizon, of course. That's the mineral component of soil. And so you're going to have microbes, bacteria, earthworms, living organisms that actually live here. It's their habitat, it's their home. They're breaking down organic matter. B horizon, sometimes called subsoil, it's going to be sort of beneath the A layer. It's going to have less nutrients in it, and it's going to be a lot more mineral based. So there's some nutrients there. You may have plant roots reaching down, but it's much more, it's transitioning to more mineral dominated than organic matter dominated. And then the C horizon is going to be the least weathered. It's going to be the most similar to parent material or bedrock. So there you have soil horizons. That was pretty quick. Let's go into, though, the Coriolis effect. We had some requests for Coriolis effect. It is really confusing, and it is the way that we get global wind patterns. So let's touch on it again really quickly. So for the Coriolis effect, you have the equator spinning much faster than higher latitudes. And what that means is that if you're traveling from 30 degrees north down towards the equator, you're going south towards the equator, the Earth is spinning in the direction that you can see on the if you look at my mouse here, this direction is spinning, basically from left to right in this diagram, or from west towards the east. So that means the wind is actually deflected the opposite direction. So the wind traveling due south is going to slowly get deflected like this. If you want to see this principle in physics, or like actually observe this, take a globe and spin it, and then try to draw a marker down the globe in a straight line. It will curve the opposite direction, your line will, of the curve of the Earth. So the Earth spins, again, from west to east. And that means that in 30 to the equator, both north and south, you're going to deflect from east to west. That's how we get the eastern trade winds. Globe spins west to east. So that means equator is spinning faster. So the air is actually deflected from east to west. We call them the eastern trade winds or the easterlies. And so that is going to be responsible for El Nino and La Nina, which somebody else asked about. So let's go down, and we've touched on this before, but let's get back into it again. It was a little bit rushed the other night, and El Nino and La Nina are important. You never know when they'll come up. So again, we have those east to west trade winds along the equator that I mentioned. In a normal year, they're blowing warm water away from South America over to Australia, Southeast Asia. But in an El Nino year, what really changes is you get a weakening of those east to west trade winds. So you get colder water that's pooling up over by Australia and Southeast Asia, and then you get warmer water pooling up over by the Americas. That brings really increased rainfall, maybe flash flooding, and it suppresses the cold water upwelling that's happening along the coast of South America. It's going to lead to globally a warmer temperature as well. So if you go back here and you look at an El Nino year, this ocean Nino index, these high El Nino years are also going to be warmer. That's going to feed into Atlantic hurricane season. So you're going to get stronger hurricanes. When there's more heat in the ocean, storm intensity is greater. Wave crests are higher. Hurricanes spin with greater speed because of that increased energy in the system. Here's a slide that I didn't show in any of our other live reviews so far that really breaks down, again, what are going to be the effects of El Nino and what are going to be the effects of La Nina. So they're different. They create different effects, and it's helpful to look at some of those secondary effects. The ones I bolded are because the College Board loves to ask about fisheries with respect to El Nino and La Nina. And again, if you have El Nino, you have that hot water that's just kind of sitting on the surface. That's going to suppress upwelling off the coast of South America. It's going to bring increased precipitation and warmer weather to the Americas, whereas it's going to produce drought in Southeast Asia and Australia. So those are some important aspects of El Nino and La Nina. I'll leave this screen up here for a minute while I take a second to catch up with the chat and see how much we can get through here. Again, unfortunately, we don't have tons and tons of time here. We do have to pop over to the Ultimate Review Packet live stream, which is going to go from 7 to 8. Again, I'm going to be answering more FRQ sort of style questions there. It's going to be a little bit more targeted at FRQ tips and tricks. So we're going to go over there in a bit. But just a couple kind of housekeeping things to keep track of. These 4 formulas that I showed you earlier, you can plug these into your calculator. So let me show you something really quick. I'm going to pull up a video that I meant to put on YouTube, but I didn't quite get to it. I had a really busy day. And so I just want to show you guys really quickly where you can go find this. So I know not everybody uses TikTok, but you don't have to be you don't have to sign into TikTok, I don't think, to watch it. Like, I think you can watch TikTok without an account. So if you go to TikTok, Apes versus Everybody, same as the YouTube channel, same as the, poster in the background and the branding here, you can see how to store formulas in your calculator. So I don't want to like echo blast you guys with bad audio, but if you watch this video, it's going to walk you through exactly how you can store formulas in your calculator so you don't have to memorize them. So I know memorizing formulas can be just one extra thing to remember. So if you go watch this video, it's going to walk you through how to do that. There's like a tutorial on YouTube of how you can store these formulas. And again, if you're like, this feels sleazy, it feels like cheating, or it feels like wrong, veteran teachers that I talk to are telling their students to do this because it's allowed. You can program your calculator with formulas and you don't have to clear the memory. Like, they put it right here explicitly in the testing manual for the person at your school, your AP coordinator. So go check this out. Go to the TikTok. You can watch that video. It has the same, again, there's nothing radically new here. It's the same slides you just saw, but it's just going to remind you that you can plug those into your calculator. And if you watch this, it's going to walk you through. Basically, I just screen recorded a YouTube video. So you can also just Google, how do you store formulas in a TI-83? And you can do that. It's one less thing to remember. My students and I did it today. We thought it would be helpful. So we did that. And so that's another thing that you can do. So let me take a second to catch up with the chat, try to answer some other questions before we, again, switch over to a different live stream where we're going to be focusing a little bit more on FRQ tips and tricks. Thermodynamics. I mean, thermodynamics is really behind the rule of 10. So 10% of energy is going to move from one trophic level to the next. That's kind of the second law of thermodynamics. You can't ever get a perfect transfer of energy. Like you're not going to get, all of the kilocalories of energy from grass into the rabbits that eat the grass. You're only going to get about 10%. 90% is going to be lost to heat. And that is the rule of the second law of thermodynamics, I should say. It's a good question. And that's really, I mean, the first law, it's more of like conservation of matter. Like you're not going to just, it's like the conservation of matter, but it's with energy. So first law of thermodynamics, roughly, you're not going to destroy energy. It just gets transformed. And so, yeah, it doesn't typically come up. Yeah, who's here from the Marco Live Learning? We definitely had some people pop over from that. That was awesome. Kristen Shapiro, super dedicated APES teacher, super knowledgeable. That's another thing. Let me show you guys this real quick. If you go to my link tree, I turned on a bunch more links. And again, sorry if I'm not answering all your questions, but we have like 10 more minutes before I need to switch over to a different live stream. So I mostly want to try to give you some resources here because I have to go to bed soon. John knows this. John from Marco Learning. I'm secretly 75 years old. It's just all the vegetables I eat. It makes it look like I'm only 30. But I have to go to bed in like an hour. So I want to give you the resources that you can use while I'm asleep, getting my rest so that, my bones don't crack when I go to try to ride my bike in the morning. But what I did, turn on a bunch of links from last year. So they're underneath the 4 teachers thing. But if you go down, we have a top 10 must know topics playlist. This is what I said last year. I think were the top 10 topics to know for the exam. We also have Kristen Shapiro's top 10 APES topics and equations to study for. Some of this she included in the live stream she just did on the Marco Learning channel. But this is quality stuff. This is another, again, untapped resource, I think, that you can use. So you can check this out. I guess it's not untapped because look at that. We've got 10 anonymous viewers on it. If you go to my link tree, you can check it. Sorry, again, Wi-Fi is cutting in and out a little bit, but let's just pin the link tree to the top. So you should see link tree pinned to top of the chat now if you need that. So again, formulas are going to look a little different depending on who you ask. New minus initial compared to new minus old. Same basic idea. She gives you something that I did not include in any of my math videos, and I should have, and that's metric conversions. Don't panic if you don't know metrics. But it's not a sorry again, I think maybe we have too many devices on the Wi-Fi. Probably gonna need to upgrade the Wi-Fi for next year, you guys, but hopefully it's coming back in decently. I know there's some lag, but not a bad idea to try to brush up on your math formulas, and in this case, your prefixes and suffixes for metric. So it's not a bad idea to remember that mega is 10 to the 6th of your base unit. So you might see this with energy, like kilowatt hours versus megawatt hours. There's 1,000 kilowatt hours in a megawatt hour, and there's 1,000,000 watts in a megawatt hour. So it's not a bad, or in a megawatt, I should say, not a bad idea to refresh on those. She's got soil texture triangle, LD50. She's got some good graphs in here. Demographic theory of transition, of course. She has a little bit of chemistry in here too. This is important. People forget about chemistry on the APES exam, but it's not a bad thing to review. You've got CFC depletion, chemistry. So she's got a lot of really good resources as well. So check these out. Again, if you go to the link tree, you can find these along with other resources. If you go all the way down, the slides are in there as well. So if you click on this, access to all of the slides that I share on my channel that are my older videos as well. 2019 redesign and the 2022 exam, but it hasn't changed since the 2019 redesign. So you can check that stuff out there. So let's just take a minute here to look through the chat, see if we have a couple more last minute questions that I can answer before we move on and go to our next live stream review. Let's see. Any specific reason? This is actually an interesting one. I want to talk about this for a second. I mentioned this yesterday, but there are states that pay for every student to take the exam and end up having a lot of students who don't take it seriously. So the pass rate is artificially low. Don't be so concerned that half the students who take the APES exam don't earn a passing score. I think way more than half the APES students who take exams seriously, who studied for more than one night. So again, don't panic so much about that. Another question I have gone over a handful of times. Yes, you can use a scientific calculator to store formulas. Google how to store formulas in a TI-84. It'll pop right up. The next live is going to be about FRQ tips specifically. And again, I wasn't even going to do any lives tonight, but I kind of decided to do one for the Ultimate Review Packet folks just because I really appreciate their support there. It's been really fun to make that resource and share it with people. And so I want to answer them. I want to answer some of their questions and do just a little bit of targeted FRQ review. Again, you can check that out if you're purchasing. I will say, for what it's worth, if you go to the Ultimate Review Packet, I'll show you guys here in a minute just how quickly you could conceivably get through everything, all 99 topics, in 4.5 hours if you watch all of those videos. So again, it is something I think is useful, something worth checking out, and something that I would encourage you to look at if you think you're still interested in purchasing a review resource. But there's tons of free stuff as well. What I don't want to do, and what I never want to do, is give students the idea that like you're not going to do well on an exam if you don't pay for a resource. There's tons of free resources on my YouTube channel, but you just have to do a little bit more of your own digging. It's a little bit more work on your end and like piece everything together. All right, we covered mining techniques in 5.9 yesterday. So you can check out yesterday's live stream or go to video 5.9 on my channel. That would be a great thing to check out there. You don't have to know a lot about geography. I mean, like you've got the basin that can make a thermal inversion worse. You've got the rain shadow effect 4.8. But you don't have to know a lot about geography in APES. This is actually a good one. And I think this is how we're going to wrap up. So Maddie, thank you for this question. Test anxiety. So here's the thing to remember. If you don't already know this, you can hide your exams from colleges. So you can submit a form to the. It's a really easy form to fill out, and Marco Learning, John from Marco Learning has a video about how to do it. But Maddie, this is just an opportunity to earn college credit. If you don't do well, if you don't do as well as you'd like to, you can hide your scores. Colleges won't know what you got. No one except you even has to know how you did. And it's just an opportunity. It's just that. It's something that if you do well, can potentially get you college credit. But if you do poorly, doesn't mean that you're a bad student, doesn't mean that you don't care about the environment, doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful in college. And so, again, try to take a deep breath and think, I have nothing to lose here. Again, if I do poorly on an AP exam, I don't lose anything. I guess $5 or $95 or however many dollars you paid for it. $95, you guys, once you're an adult, of course, of your try to take a deep breath, try to let go of some of that anxiety and know I'm going to still be okay regardless of how this test goes. I'm going to do as well as I can. I'm going to make sure I double check my math. I'm going to make sure I try to write to the prompt, and I'm going to leave the test knowing I did as well as I could on that day. If I didn't put in as much effort as I wanted to getting ready for it, it was just a missed opportunity. I can do better the next time. I can take the next test more seriously. I can prepare better for the next test. And so again, it's not a referendum on you as a person. It's just an opportunity. And if we miss opportunities all the time, that's okay. We try to do better when the next opportunity rolls around. So, on that note, again, I hope everybody can take a deep breath and just let go of the test anxiety as much as possible. I know you can't control it totally. Your heart rate speeds up a little bit. You grip the pencil a little tighter, but to the best of your ability, take a deep breath, breathe in for 5.5 seconds, which is a long time. Five and a half second in breaths, 5.5 second out breaths will dramatically slow your heart rate. So think of that when you get into the test, when you're doing the pre-bubbles, when you're starting the FRQ, a handful of 5.5 second in breaths and 5.5 second out breaths. Breathing out slowly is like magic. It just slows your heart down. There's nothing your body can do about it. There's the vagus nerve and your sympathetic nervous system and something psychology and physiology, and it just works. So it works wonders. Take that 5 second out breath and know that you'll be okay. You're going to do as well as you can. You're going to cross your fingers. You're going to hope for that passing score, maybe a 4 or 5. If you're disappointed with your score, you're going to know, hey, I can hide this score from colleges. They don't have to know I took it. And I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to do better on the next time I have a standardized test. That's all it is. You guys are great. Just the fact that you're here is doing something about the test tomorrow. It's better than doom scrolling TikTok. It's better than getting in a couple more games of Fortnite and procrastinating your studying. So all of you, there's 303 of you right now on this live stream. You are doing something to get ready for tomorrow. So you've started. That's the hard part. That's more than half the battle. It really is. You're already here. You're logged on. So go watch other videos after this, or go and do, other review packets, or write a practice FRQ, but just keep it going. You've already started the process. Keep it going. Get 8 hours of sleep, 5.5 second in breaths, 5.5 second out breaths. Stay long explanation. I didn't necessarily cover science at the end. If you want top 10 topics, people have been saying, what are the top 5 topics I should cover? What are the topics I should cover? I think I put a live stream or my link tree from last year, top 10 topics. So if you take a look here, top 10 topics are here. This is just my guess, you guys. Write the test. So I don't know, but these are important topics. 1 from each unit with 2 from unit 9. So check these slides out if you want some good things to review. All right, it's been a lot of fun, but we do have to go to the next stream. Again, it will be posted there. So I'll just show you really quickly so you know how to join us on that next live stream, how to get there. But you're going to have to go to the Ultimate Review Packet. And then if you sign in with Google, and it will take you into the Ultimate Review Packet. If you purchase it, it's going to act a link, basically take you through to the next live stream. So I don't think it will let me in from my account here. I might have to pull it up in my other account. But if you go in here and you do the free preview. After you go through, you can preview Unit 1, first of all. So if you want to check this out and see, like, is this for me? You can check it out totally for free. You can go through and you can do actually all of Unit 1. So Unit 1 is a free preview. It's going to let you do all of this after you just answer a couple questions. But then if you want to join the live stream review, you can open this if you pay for the packet. So it'll give you a link to the next live stream. So again, if you guys want to check that out, go check it out. There's lots of free resources. You don't have to by any means. You can definitely still do great on this test without paying for a resource. But if you think it's worth it and you want to check out another resource, go check out the Ultimate Review Packet, and I'll see you guys there. It's going to be like 7:03 because I have to hop off this live stream and set up the next one. But I'll see everybody there if you're heading there. If you're not, enjoy the rest of your studying. Stay calm. 5.5-second in breaths, 5.5-second out breaths. It will really help. And as always, think like a mountain and write like a scholar.